more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community.
I want to pose this question to John Burnett.
Go to the black guy first.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm saying my first question is, are you black? Because he's saying if you have a hard time, if you like Trump, you can't be black. Is that what he's saying, Jay? I don't get it. I can't believe he said that.
That's exactly what he's saying. Look, I tweeted out this morning. Once again, we have a white liberal trying to define black, right? Just like white people aren't all liberals, aren't all Republicans. Blacks come in different political ideologies, right? But in the white liberal mindset, not speaking for David, but the white liberal mindset is that, blacks should be a specific, in a specific lane, right? Political lane. And when you look back in the 1960s, my mind goes back to what Malcolm X said. He actually advised blacks not to be political chumps. In other words, we have to work with the structure, the political structure. We have to work with Republicans. We have to work with liberals. We have to work with everyone. Don't automatically pledge allegiance to just one party.
Right. And I wonder, around. David, you're our resident presidential historian. I really wonder what would happen if Donald Trump said, if you're voting for Joe Biden, you ain't white. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's constantly vilified as a xenophobe, and I don't always agree with the president. But is it okay to basically categorize all black people as must be Biden?
No, and it's been something the Democratic Party has been guilty of for decades, and as a result of this, they have taken blacks for granted. And so you see time and time again in terms of a Biden-supported anti-crime bill back in the 1990s, right? What did that result in? Mass incarceration of the African-American and Latino population in the United States. So, and that has had huge effects on everything for the socioeconomic status of minorities in America. So because the Democratic Party has taken African-Americans for granted, they have, just basically dumped on them for decades. And so that this is not something that most Democrats will talk about. But like I said, I expect more from the Democratic Party, and that's why I'm so critical of it.
But to David's point, the thing is that the black vote, they're not really excited about Biden.
No.
Right?
Definitely
so,
not.
So
no one is.
Biden feels that he has to actually be, I guess, provocative because he's not really running a good race. So when you're not running a good race, what do? You talk about race to try to actually bolster your campaign from the basement.
And this, John, is a bigger problem of the Democratic Party, focusing on identity politics rather than on the economic critique, right, of the system. And a system that works for the elites and has for decades. And this, by the way, is something that Republicans and Democrats, not the ones in Washington, D.C., but the ones all around the country can agree on.
Wow. And I think we all agreed. I think we all agreed on this, that Joe Biden's way out of line. Let me ask you this, JB, this whole mail-in voting stuff. Number one, I'm a little confused on it because we have mail-in voting across the whole country right now. We have absentee voting. So if you can't get to the poll, you can always get an absentee ballot. Why is this such a divisive issue that the Democrats want mail-in voting so bad?
Well, the thing is that the absentee balloting is different from using mail-in balloting as a means for 100% of voting, right? So that's a different element. But the problem is, or the challenge, if you go to 100% mail-in balloting, right, you run into situations of ballot harvesting, meaning that you have individuals going to, let's say, certain apartment complexes or certain communities to gather up ballots that's just an opportunity for fraud, an opportunity for third parties to fill out ballots for other individuals, to actually register individuals or dual registrations, and then put marking certain or actually voting for those individuals and mailing those or dropping those ballots off. So it's a huge opportunity for fraud, and there's no real chain of custody. When a person walks in to fill out the ballot in person, they have to usually sign a book, right? That's actually a chain of custody to that particular voting operation. But with mail-in, you don't really have the origin up to the point where the ballot is received.
It's absolutely scary. Dave, we got 1 minute left. Let's hear what you think about this.
Well, the fact is that as the voter participation rate goes up, Democrats do better. So there is an incentive for Republicans to not have the mail-in balloting. I don't see why we can't do things and elections online. The fact of the matter is that we can conduct these multi-million-dollar or 50-cent financial transactions online every day, every second. Why can't we figure out a way to have everybody with an individual ID code?
Yeah, I'm with you. Right. It's like a credit card. It's like a credit card with a PIN code. We know how to separate that stuff. All right, we got to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much. David Eisenbach and John Burnett, always here for us to mix it up, just like you're always here for us. And don't go nowhere. We're coming back right after this with Roger Stone.
Most financially successful people own assets that make them money while they sleep. They usually own real estate, vehicles, intellectual property, equipment, and more. These assets make passive income through leases, subscriptions, royalties, and fees that don't require time, energy, or attention. Your assets do the work, and you collect the check. So what kind of asset should you buy? The most valuable companies in the world, like Amazon, Google, and Apple, all have the same thing in common. They make a majority of their revenue from data technology assets, storing, collecting, processing, and providing data. It's all about the data. What if you could own data tech assets with a low upfront cost? Introducing Apex, a proprietary technology built to process and mine data and render artificial intelligence and 3D gaming at exceptionally high rates. Apex Tech has partnered with SafeTech, a subsidiary of a publicly traded company called InvestView. SafeTech's business model leverages Apex technology to disrupt the multi-trillion-dollar data tech industry, giving you the competitive advantage. SafeTech's growth strategy is to capture a significant share of the market. SafeTech will enter into a 60-month lease with owners of Apex Systems. Why would they do that? Why not just buy all the equipment themselves? The same reason most companies lease instead of own, to scale quickly without the upfront costs and for the tax benefits. So how do you get started? You purchase an Apex system. Then you can lease it to SafeTech for 60 months at a rate of $500 per month. That's a total of $30,000 paid to you over the life of the lease. So what's your responsibility besides purchasing the Apex system? Nothing. During the lease, SafeTech is responsible for any maintenance costs to keep things running for you. Just collect a check every month for the next 60 months. This tremendous financial opportunity positions you to follow the strategies of the financially successful. You can leverage data technology to produce passive income that generates revenue without your time, energy, or effort. This is what is meant by creating multiple streams of income. But the opportunity to participate will not last forever. If this concept fits your financial goals, take action today while you still have the chance.